Hi guys, welcome back to part 5 of the hospital series, and in today's video we are going to be covering about two large cap hospitals, Max Healthcare and Apollo hospitals. Okay, so first let us talk about Max Healthcare. If you look at Max Healthcare, they started as a one hospital in Delhi and NCR, and after that their entire they've started having a very strong prominence in Delhi NCR. Not just that, but in most of the northern part of India, right? They're trying to expand over there as much as possible, right? Now, if you look at them, one thing that makes Max, I would say, a bit special, right? If you see, they have the highest RPOP compared to anybody else, especially in the Delhi NCR region, is because if you look at the payer mix, right, the international patient contribution is the highest over here for Max compared to anybody. International patient contributes 14%, which is highest if you see among the listed compared to anybody, and international patient is a little bit high margin business compared to others, right? So over here, that is one thing that is impressive. That is why you see RPOP for Max is much higher compared to the other players in Delhi NCR. Could be Yatharth, could be Medanta, Apollo, and the rest, right? Now, when you talk about Max, and I think I'll tell you this, one thing that really is something I would say admire about them is their capex plans are like literally off the roof. Like if you look at the entire hospital space in India, you can divide that hospital space into two categories. One is a regional hospital, and the other one is your almost almost pan India presence. Like you have Narayan Hrudayalaya, you have Apollo, you have Max, and on the other side you have this Jupiter, GPT, Global Health, and Yatharth, which are like regional plays. Okay, so you would see here the combination of growth and capex is there with this regional place. They are good, they have reasonably low market cap, and you would see that growth is there. Along with growth, they have capex over here, right? All of these factors that are there, and even in terms of capex, like all these regional hospital, they're not doing small capex. Okay, everybody is having a plan to double their bed capacity in 4 to 5 years, and because also their base is also very small now. Everybody is having like 1000 or 1500 beds, and they're planning to double that from 1500 to like almost 3000 beds. That is what the target is for most of them. Versus over here, when you talk about the large hospitals such as Apollo and Max, the base is so big, right? So even let's say when you are a 1 lakh crore market cap company, let's say if you're going from 2k from 2000 crore market cap to 4000 crore market cap, that 100% shift is easy. But when you're at 1 lakh crore market cap, from there to go to 2 lakh crore market cap, it becomes tough, right? And not just that, when your base is bigger, it becomes even tougher to you to add beds. But the fact is over here, Max is that one rare combination where there is growth, and the growth is not like your mid-teens growth, it is like really good growth, plus you have the capex also happening over here. Okay, so just to give you an idea, the sales that is there, sales is up by 26%, and if you look at PAT is flat. Okay, I will come later as to like why the PAT is flat over here, but let's first talk about the numbers. Okay, the sales is up 26%, really good. In fact, you would be very surprised, the leading player over here used to be Yatharth, which used to grow at 25 to 30% in Q2FY25, in the best season of the hospital space. You see that the fastest growing space and the smaller player over here, which was Yatharth, is growing at the same pace as a large market cap. Like Yatharth ka market cap is what, less than 6000 7000 market cap, and over here Max is at 1 lakh crore market cap. So both of them are growing at 25%, first of all. So now you see here why I was telling you the pace of growth is high along with the capex, right? And when you talk about other metrics, when you talk about margin, EBITDA margin is at 26%, all in all very great. If you talk about the occupancy is up by 4%. In fact, their occupancy as of Q2 FY25 is at 81% versus 77% last Q2 on a consolidated basis. If you look at RPOP was up by 2%. RPOP is right now at 76,100. Like I told you, right, RPOP is the highest over here compared to anybody, right? 76,100, and all of their hospital, like I told you, the occupancy over here is at 81%. The consolidated, that is your matured plus your new hospitals. Okay, so over here, one thing with Max is all of their hospitals were running at full capacity. Like I told you, if you want to go further in the hospital space, you want to continue to grow, you have to do capex, and these people have been doing mad bonkers capex. I'll tell you, they had, as of December 23rd, they had around I would say around 3000 beds odd, right? 3500 beds odd. Okay, and In the next 4 years, the target was in 24, 25, in the next 4 to 5 years, they wanted to double the bed capacity, right? Almost like take it, add another 3,500 to 4,000, okay? And now you see, I told you, right, the PAT is flat. The why PAT is flat is because these people are doubling the bed capacity and they've been going bonkers over here, like mad capex have been doing. And as you know, when you add so many beds, when you're in a process of adding so many beds, when you're doing capex with any hospitals, since all of your capex is upfront, you have to construct the building, you have to get the hospital beds, you have to hire the doctors, you have to get the machines, you have to get the medicines and all of it. Your cost is upfront, right? And it takes you at least 5 years to break even on an EBITDA level if you're constructing something from scratch, right? Or it could be even 2 to 3 years, somewhere between 3 to 5 years it takes for a lot of hospitals to break even, right? So that is why you're seeing that the PAT that is there is flat, because they have a lot of capex going on, and as a result, you know, that is the reason. Okay. Now when you talk about when you talk about the capex also, like I told you, very exceptional capex, like all of their capex, I'll tell you, like I've seen a lot of hospitals, they do a capex and then, you know, it's that either with their fault or without their fault, there comes a halt because of which capex is delayed. And for the last one and a half year, the way these people have been executing their capex, you know, just so good, you know, like there has been no delay. If they're telling they'll do something, it will be done. You know, very rare you see something not going for them or on track for them, but all of their capex has been done. They have a combination of all greenfield, brownfield and acquisition. When you talk about the capex, I will just go, because there is a lot, like I told you, that is there. I can't cover everything in the video. So they're putting up like a lot of hospital in Nanavati, in Saket complex. They're putting up 2 hospitals in Mohali, in Gurugram, in Patparganj, and they've also done acquisitions in Dwarka, Lucknow and Nagpur. Now this Lucknow and Dwarka has already been operational, the acquisition that they've did. Now one more interesting fact is this acquisition they have done in Dwarka, Lucknow and Nagpur. What they're doing is, not only have they done the acquisition and they've got some bed capacity over here, but in these existing hospital also they are increasing the capex and adding additional bed also, okay? And recently they acquired another hospital in Jaipur. So all in the Noida space, a 500 bedded hospital over here. Now out of this, many of the hospitals that I told you, right, all these names that I gave you, many of this will get operationalized either in the Q4 of this year or in the first half of Q1 of next year, right? Q1, Q2 of next year, H1 of next year, you will see. So going forward, you would see probably the growth rate even increase, because all these hospitals will get operationalized, occupancy will increase, ARPOB is bound to increase, and probably in a few years you will also see them, you know, being EBITDA positive and totally adding to the bottom line. Great hospital. The only thing, like I told you, I'll discuss all the valuation part in the final video, but just to give in one line, I would say it becomes hard at the base. It is, although they're doing a very tremendous amount of work, really great, you know, because at this base you're planning to double the bed capacity at this market cap. It just becomes, like I told you, it is easier for a company with 2,000 crore market cap to become even 10,000 crore market cap, right? That's literally a 5x jump over here. It is easier over there than, let's say, for a company, even that 1 lakh crore market cap to go to like 1.25 lakh crore, to get just that expansion, it just becomes hard. The only enemy for Max over here is its own base, right? So as a result, what happens going forward over here, it becomes a bit hard, I would say. It's not that it's impossible, it just becomes a bit hard at this current growth rate for you to get a PRA rating, like a 25% kind of growth, right? So it needs to, probably with the additional capacity that is coming up in the next year, probably the growth rate will increase, and then probably we can see, even from, probably if that happens along with operating leverage, there could be a chance to PRA rate. Now the second hospital we will be covering is Apollo Hospital Enterprise Limited. Now over here, the entire Apollo, if you look at it, right, like see, if you go anywhere in India, you'll find one Apollo hospital, right? It is there in every nook and corner of the country. So now when you look at over here, they have 3 segments. The entire business model of Apollo can be divided into 3 segments. One is their hospitals, okay? The second one is their clinics, daycare centers or specialized treatment. That is one, okay? The third part is, I would say, is their pharmacy chains. You would see, in your local area, you will find Apollo Pharmacy, right? And they also have this offline where you can order from the app. So that is the third part, online and offline pharmacy, okay? So first, let us cover the hospital part. Hospital part, as usual, grows by 15%. The fact that at this pace it is growing at 15%, well and good, because if you look at the operating bed capacity that they have, right, that is around 7,700, 800 odd. So at that base, you're growing 15%. percentage, well and good, no problem. Okay, if you look at the sales, I'm telling on a consolidated basis, combining all the three, sales is up by 15.32 and PAT is up by 59% on a year on year. Okay, now when you talk about the hospital part, the first part, occupancy is up by 5% and ARPOB is up by 2.8%. Okay, and here out of the 7,800 beds that they have, sorry, 7,800 beds that they have, in this they're planning to increase this bed capacity and add additional of 3,500 beds. Out of which in FY26 you will see them add 1,737 beds, and going forward in the next 3 to 4 years another 1,500 to 1,700 beds that will happen. Over here, good plain vanilla, you're going to get a 15% kind of growth even going forward. That is it, right? And all of the hospital businesses that you can see where they're adding this bed, it is mainly brownfield, or in the existing only they're having some extra land, so they're putting up another capex, or it could be an acquisition cost. Because see, when you want to create a hospital of that huge size, Apollo is known for the huge hospitals, right? You need land, you need everything, and it is becoming tougher for them to acquire that land and everything, right? Because there's no place over here and they are mostly concentrated in T1 and T2 cities. It becomes hard for you to put up even that big scale of a hospital in a T3 city also, right? So like I told you, over here also the same thing for Apollo, it is becoming hard to grow at this pace. So the fact that they're able to do 15% on this pace is commendable. Okay, and like I told you now, they are adding 3,500 beds in the next 3 to 4 years, out of which 1,500 will be added in the coming year. Okay, and like I told you, it's a combination of greenfield, brownfield and capex. They're adding in several places in the north, in the south, in the east and the west. Okay, now let's come to the second part of the business. Now see, like I told you, it becomes very hard for you, and also it is a lot of capex for you to put up such big hospitals. So Apollo cracked the code. Okay, like, dude, why should I only think about big hospital? I can also think about, you know, chota hospitals, right? Like, see, if you look at the entire clinic space, like if you are sick and you know you're just a cold and cough and you have to just go to your clinic, you know, that small clinic that is there in your gully, right? You see that is a very unorganized and it is a fragmented space. They're like, you know, why can't we target a shift over here from the unorganized space to organized space? And we already have a brand called Apollo, why not leverage that? So now what they've started is, the second part of the business is diagnostic and retail. Diagnostic, as you know, the diagnostic chains, Apollo Diagnostic, you know what happens over there, you go for your lab test and everything. Here in the retail part, what they do is they have these clinics. It could be orthopedic clinic, Apollo dental clinic, or Apollo dental clinic, or Apollo sugar clinic. You know, specifically it is for like one specific treatment, or they club a lot of treatment and do Apollo clinic. Near my house also there is this Apollo clinic where they provide you like a dental services, or like, you know, consultation services with a dermatologist, cardiologist. And what happens is these people have these visiting doctors. You go over there, get the treatment, and let's say if you have some serious issue, they again refer you. You can go. They funnel the sale back to the main Apollo hospitals over here. Okay, and in this part also, what they have is they have this Apollo specialized treatment such as IVF, Apollo fertility, or Apollo cradle, which is specifically for expecting mothers and children, you know, pediatric treatment and all. So this is the other part of the business. Now when you talk about the primary care, right, in this second part of the business, diagnostic and retail, you see the primary care, which is like I told you now, Apollo clinics, sugar clinic, dental clinic. This has grown by 14% on a year-on-year basis, and the volumes over here, that is people who come for treatment, one-time treatment, that has grown by 13%. Okay, and when you look at diagnostic segment, the revenues grew by 19% and the volume grew by 37%. And the specialty treatment that I told you, right, where it is about Apollo cradles and fertility, this grew by 22, specialty grew by 19% and fertility grew by 22% on a year-on-year basis. Now see, like I told you, one is the first business, the hospital business, is becoming stagnated because there is no capacity for you to grow. You know, there is no place. In this business, the diagnostic and the retail part of the business, since it is very new, it is still not making that much of a money to support over here, right? It is growing definitely, but not that much. If you see their primary care, that has grown. The PAT has grown of 105 versus 162 last H1 versus this H1. If you look at Diagnostic also grew a little bit, the pat has grown. But if you look at the specialty care, since it is a very new thing, it is still a loss making, it is still loss making over here. Then the last part of their business is a pharmacy business. Even the pharmacy business has done well, right? The revenues have been growing over here, but hardly little, like in a single digit. But the problem is this pharmacy business is a bit like loss making, especially the online part of the pharmacy business, where you order from the app and you have this consultation in the app and everything. This is dragging them down, right? So as you can see, the Apollo ka one is the existing capacity is getting stagnated, and the fact is the base is becoming bigger, and the same base is the enemy. And on the second hand, the new ventures that they are targeting, right, since it is quite new, it is still loss making and it is dragging them down. You need all of these, all of the verticals, the hospitals, the diagnostic centers, the pharmacy, the primary care, and the specialty care, that is your Apollo Cradle and Apollo Fertility. If all of them starts over here being, bottom line is getting better, and if you see more additions over here, you see the walk-ins are getting great, it stands a chance over here. But the problem is that, and we also do not know, since it is a hospital, it becomes very hard. We do not know when it will become EBITDA positive, when it will, when we'll see the volumes growing, right? So that is that. Good, I would say 15% growth engine, very nice set of numbers. It's just that at this base, the base is the enemy, and it becomes very hard for you to grow at this base. It becomes hard, like 30-35%. But overall, good execution that they have been doing at this base, right? So that's that for part 5 series for Max and Apollo. In the next video, I will be covering Narayana Hridayalaya, and there's another like 4 very small hospitals I have to cover it. Even I'm getting bugged right now. But yeah, that's that about the hospital space. See you again tomorrow. Bye.